And there is a practical element. And the practical element is that, as we speak, a couple of allies are saying they will not give their consent and therefore will withhold unanimity to Ukraine entering NATO. Countries like Hungary, the United States, Slovakia, and maybe a couple others. So that's the practical point of it. So that leaves us then with the question, if a peace deal is done on Ukraine, a long-term ceasefire or a full peace deal, how do we prevent the Russians from ever attacking Ukraine again? How do we prevent a repeat of what happened after Minsk II in 2014-2015? And this is where the security guarantees come in place.
Good morning, this is Mateusz Grzymkowski, TVN24. Question for the Prime Minister. Mr. Prime Minister, I wanted to ask about Lithuania, specifically the training ground that is to be built by 2030 in the Suwałki Gap. So this place is very critical. Have you discussed with the Lithuanian side how this might look? If such cooperation occurs, how exactly will it proceed? Or will any exercises be conducted here in the future?
We have very good cooperation with Lithuania. We are close allies. We know our capabilities very well and we complement each other effectively. Poland is also investing significantly in the expansion of both road and railway networks, specifically to facilitate and improve military mobility. This is in fact one of the key objectives and fundamental assumptions of the SAFE program. I have spoken about this matter. I was providing this specific information to the Secretary earlier today, confirming that within the SAFE program, we have incorporated both military projects and crucial initiatives focused on military mobility, as well as the essential reinforcement of forces reporting directly to the Ministry of Interior and Administration, such as the Border Guard and the police. This is compatible with allied operations. The European Union's spending on military equipment, on military mobility, and on the development of infrastructure are all expenditures for NATO. National states, by building up the potential of their armies, are building the potential of the entire NATO. So this is the connection between the European Union and NATO that we are very keen on. We are interested in cooperating with Lithuania on the development of infrastructure for military exercises, including training ranges. I am scheduled for a meeting tomorrow with the new Minister of Defense of Lithuania. I am certain that this particular topic will also be discussed. We are supporting one of the projects that we are keen to implement jointly. This involves both joint military exercises and also the creation of the necessary space for these joint training activities. They certainly have our full support and backing here.
I'd like another question. Good morning. My name is Przemysław Słowinski from Polsat News. I have a question for you, Mr. Secretary General. I would like to inquire about the information that has been appearing recently in the public sphere regarding potential security guarantees for Ukraine from the allied countries of NATO. President Zelensky, even during his recent meeting in Berlin, hinted that Ukraine might be willing to forego its aspiration to join NATO in exchange for a different kind of security guarantee. Therefore, I would like to ask you, Mr. Secretary, do you envision NATO's allied nations providing Ukraine with security guarantees that are patterned after Article 5? And do you perhaps foresee such an arrangement coming to fruition without Russia's explicit consent?
Well, let me split my answer in two. One on membership of NATO for Ukraine. There is a principle and a practical element here. The principal element, as you know, is that any country in the Euro-Atlantic area can apply for membership. That's the Washington Treaty. And in the Washington Summit last year, in Washington in 2024, allies agreed on the irreversible path of Ukraine into NATO.
And there is a practical element. And the practical element is that, as we speak, a couple of allies are saying they will not give their consent and therefore will withhold unanimity to Ukraine entering NATO. Countries like Hungary, the United States, Slovakia, and maybe a couple others. So that's the practical point of it. So that leaves us then with the question, if a peace deal is done on Ukraine, a long-term ceasefire or a full peace deal, how do we prevent the Russians from ever attacking Ukraine again? How do we prevent a repeat of what happened after Minsk II in 2014-2015? And this is where the security guarantees come in place. And the security guarantees, as they are currently being designed, have three layers. Layer one is the Ukrainian armed forces. They will be, of course, like in Poland and everywhere in NATO territory, in this case outside NATO territory, in Ukraine, will be the first line of defense. The second line of defense is, of course, what the coalition of the willing under the leadership of the United Kingdom and France have been designing over the last couple of months. How can the Europeans help here together with Canada to make sure that the peace will be sustained? And the US, and this is the third element of this, the American president said in August that he wants the US to be part of those security guarantees. And at the moment, discussions are ongoing what that exactly would mean and how then this collective package of security guarantees would look like. That's currently the debate going on. It's extremely important because indeed, after a peace deal, if not NATO, and NATO for practical reasons is not possible now, how do we prevent a further attack of the Russians? And Putin has to know that after a peace deal, if he would try to attack Ukraine again, the reaction will be devastating. And this is exactly how we are designing these security guarantees.
Dziękuję. Panie premierze, do you want to express yourself on this?
Just two sentences. Not the shift of Xi'an. In the United States approach was also extremely important. Over the last 6 to 8 months, when there was a change of administration, this was the first meeting that Secretary General Mark Rutte chaired with the defense ministers, where Secretary Pete Hegseth was also present. Certain distance regarding the United States' continued support for Ukraine was distinctly palpable. There was no official change in their stance, but that noticeable distance was certainly felt. Then there was the Secretary's important mission concerning a new initiative for the procurement of American equipment and the matter of European responsibility and contribution. This initiative was the result of a personal conversation between the Secretary and President Trump. It yielded positive results. Pete Hegseth's position looked completely different during the meeting of defense ministers in October of this year. The commitment to supporting Ukraine is on a completely different level. This initiative, dear Secretary Mark, was, in my opinion, absolutely crucial for changing the United States stance. From this moment, there's been no break in equipment deliveries or in the provision of information, even the most sensitive kind. So cooperation is at a very good level. We see this in Jasionka in many places. We can observe it. And now this progress that we're seeing in the ongoing discussions probably doesn't yet provide a very clear indication that everything will turn out favorably, but the level of engagement is definitely higher, and we can certainly have more optimism for Christmas and the New Year than we've ever had before.
Thank you very much. I don't see any more people wishing to ask questions, and with that we'll conclude today's conference. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.